Welcome back to Misunderstood. Jeez, it's been a minute since I've said that. It's been a minute since I've sat down, and it's in a different capacity. I'm not doing politics. Well, I hope not. There might be a bit of politics. I don't know what this is going to be. There's going to be a lot of cool ideas. There's going to be a lot of cool people. And there's a lot that's going to be coming. More to that will be seen, more to that to be said. But today I'm joined here by someone who's become a friend, someone who I've known for so long, but our friendship started so late.
Yeah.
Kenz3i, bro. How are you doing, brother?
What's up? Yeah, I'm good. It's good to be here, man. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, bro.
Yeah,
of course.
Thanks
I
for the
mean,
intro.
Bro, yeah. I don't know. This is probably one of those conversations where I was like, what do we even say? We speak so much. We say so much. We speak about everything and anything, actually.
Yeah, we speak a lot.
Yeah.
We say a lot of shit.
It's all within that. It's doing everything. But I want to kind of start off where the last one ended, right? We spoke about your music. We spoke about your album.
Right.
It's out. It's lived. It's had its time. It's now been with the people's ears for some time.
Yes, sir.
Take me through what the biggest reflections have been through that moment, through that time, how you felt when it came out and versus how you felt now.
So like the first major takeaway is like mixing, mastering is hard as fuck, man. That shit is difficult. Like it's a whole separate art form, and yeah, I've learned a lot about that, just simply that since then. You know, like I've performed feedback from various people, hearing it in different spaces. And yeah, so there's that. You know, when it came out, it was amazing. I was so happy. Like once I sent it through the distros and I was just waiting for it to come out, like I was just playing that thing on repeat. I wasn't even in South Africa at the time.
Wow.
Yeah. I was by the Zambezi River.
Hectic.
Yeah.
Hectic.
So there wasn't a lot of signal and stuff, and I was just like in that stage of cutting it up, and you know, I had all the recordings, all the beats were done. It was just arranging and like I did that while we were on the road, and like I love being on the road, and you know, I study film, and I don't know what they call it in the film software, but like for Fruity Loops, you know, there's a track list, and I think they might call it a timeline. And in film, it's like you drag in the video, and then it's there like on a horizontal line. Yeah. And there's all the different frames in the scene. And I try to, with my eyes, capture good frames, you know, and find beauty. And, you know, I find like being on the road, you see a lot and you download a lot. And yeah, I always get inspired like doing that kind of shit. And then yeah, I had it, and I was like, yep, this is it. I'm sending it through. I was just listening on repeat. Like, it came out, and the response was amazing. I felt awesome, like, so good. Like, I dreamed of making an album for really, really long. And for a long time, like, I'm not a master plan kind of guy, but that was, like, my master plan was to, like, release an album and show people not only how much I love music, but how seriously I take it. And yeah, since then, you know, a lot has happened. Like, I change a lot, you know. The same man can't step in the same river twice, something like that. No man can step in the same river twice.
Yeah.
So I've evolved a lot from there, and there's certain songs I'll go back to and I'll be like, you know, like, like shit, I would have maybe mixed this, like brought the melody down a little bit, or like I wouldn't have said it that way, or I would have said it, like my taste changes like every second. Like I'm a different man now because I said that to the person I was before I said that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like every, millisecond is change. And so what I learned is that when you drop an album, there's something really special about the craft of like creating such a significant timestamp. And I think good albums they don't always have to be made in a short period of time, but there's a space that it has and that it creates, and the artist can tap into and is tapping into, and in that it has identity. And like I spent a long time making that album, really long. Like there are lots of different versions of it, and that version just happened to be the one in those 2 weeks that I was like, this is it. You know what I mean? And I love it for that. And the doors it's opened for me, the conversations, everything, it's insane. You know what I mean? Like, especially in a day where like music doesn't feel very valuable. It's sort of made to be disposable. It really is, and I think a lot of people's just like changed their perspective of me. People who knew me and people who were meeting me who knew about the album and who heard it or whatever kind of, clocked, oh, this guy works, he works hard at something and he's passionate about something and he has something to offer. And it's been really cool to see that, because I do work and I do have something to offer and I put a lot of shit into that shit, and to see that it was so fruitful in such an organic way and in such an unpredictable way is awesome, yeah.
Okay, there's a lot that you said, and I think I want to ask, because I think you say something interesting when you say that almost music's lost its value, or it's not like as valuable as it should be anymore, right? When you consider yourself now creating, having given us our first album, how then do you think about what your future looks like in creating in a space where music isn't valued? Because that's like a very interesting dichotomy, because like on the one end, there is this very great capacity for your music to be this artistry, which it is. And on the other end, it's like the consumption of it is very different. And like I guess you say, it does influence the social interactions. It influences what people think of you. And they draw something completely different, or they draw different conclusions to the same thing that means something so much more, or something different to you.
Yeah, so it's like when I describe the album that way, you could liken it to a guy my age trying to start up a plumbing business or a pool cleaning, or some guy who's doing a podcasting like you, like it's people have words for it like hustle, or I like hustle. I think a lot of people really enjoy, anything, any kind of offering, any hard work. Like we all need it. We are dependent on it. We have community because we can't do it all by ourselves. And, there's that clip from The Studio with Seth Rogen where he's like having an argument about the value of art, specifically film, in comparison to something like medicine. And it's interesting because, Seth Rogen's character just basically says, why do we have to argue which is more important? Why do we have to talk about it that way? You know what I mean? I think all these things come together and serve a really, really awesome purpose, which is humanity. And I think as long as we're around, we'll always crave that, the offerings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember who said it, but I remember watching someone and they said artists contribute to everyone who's employed, at least in the corporate sense, or at least in the basic service sense, so that when they get home, they have something to watch, relax, do something to, whether it's music, whether it's film, whether it's just art itself. And those same professions give artists the capacity to live and to do the job so that they can create the art.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like both of these two worlds contribute to each other.
Yeah.
And it is interesting. I think a lot of it does put people against each other and doesn't necessarily say like it has to be one or the other. And I think what I'm starting to discover more and more is that most people aren't linear. Most people don't have one passion. Most people don't have one desire, one job that they're going to follow their whole life. It's why people have midlife crises. It's why people change jobs.
Exactly.
And I'm curious now, in your journey, you're making music, but at the same time you're studying film. Film is a very different art form. I think different in the sense of it's visual. There's collaboration to a significantly greater extent than in music, at least in the sense of like crews and stuff and when you get to massive productions.
Yeah.
What's that experience been like? And has that contributed much to your own artistry in itself?
Definitely. I'm not big about, I wouldn't say I'm not big about it, but I'm skeptical of art in education.
Why? Wait. Art in education. Okay, tell me
or
more.
like art schools teaching art. I think it's important, and like you need people who talk about art at that kind of level, and because it kind of shows you how important it is. But there's a lot of rules, and very simply, like art for me is about not having rules and freedom. And there's a lot of kind of restrictions you get, and of course, like you need those kinds of things. Like it's impossible to just be like, here's the whole world, here's all the the craziest cameras, the craziest equipment, go mad. Like there's money, and there's all of those kinds of things, organization, a lot of stuff that has to fall into place. But teaching it and the rules that come with that, the ways in which you have to engage with art, it can, you can know too much. And that can make it harder for you to actually create. It can be confusing for you to be a vessel. In my experience.
I'd be interested because I guess like part of what I'm hearing is that what you're saying is that to some extent it's being educational in and of itself. It's very instructional. It limits people in some capacity in terms of what the process to creativity can be and how creativity can occur. And I find that interesting because most onlookers, right, most consumers of art don't know the difference, which is a very like interesting thing of watching a film like Christopher Nolan, who didn't go to film school. I think that, Chris didn't go to film school.
Tarantino didn't.
Didn't. All these greats. Versus people who do have an education, people who have learned it. It is this weird thing of like both of them have the capacity. Now,
definitely. Yeah.
I think what's truer to some extent, the ones who don't have the education do tend to be a lot more creative with their thinking. They
Yeah.
tend to be a lot more limitless.
Yeah.
But I am curious then, how do you define the boundlessness of your art or the limitations of your art?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think for me, I've loved art and I've been educated and I've been in institutions where they offer, you know, courses or programs where you can be an artist in some kind of sense. But I've always felt in those spaces boxed in, and I like feeling me in the art. I like connecting to it. I like when it resonates and relates and I feel it. You know what I mean? It's not even feeling me in it. It's feeling it. And I'm the kind of creator that is, I love to play and I'm very hyper focused on creating. And that's what I love to do. You know, I don't really think too much about it. I don't really plan. It's very kind of spontaneous and organic. And I always found it really hard to find a place for that in those kinds of spaces. The limitations of my art, the boundaries, I don't really have any, you know what I mean? It's I think language is something that I wouldn't say get wrong, but my way of using language has often been a barrier. It's created barriers and it's been misleading. And, you know, after my album, I think there's also a lot of people who think of me as like you know, a delinquent. But, you know, I like freedom and I have a way of expressing my ideas that make sense to me and they resonate with me and they resonate with the people who they resonate with. And they don't, you know, you can always turn the music off. But I think that's something like from that album that I was like, I do want to get better at communicating my ideas and the nuance and the complexity. So I've definitely been focusing on being having less of a sieve between my idea and what materializes. You know?
I am curious because I think there's a lot of vulnerable moments on that album. And it takes a lot to put your heart out in that way and in that capacity.
Yeah.
When you were creating the album, was there ever a fear of like, this is too much offering or this is like too much that like the world's gonna think? And now that it is out, have you felt that it's freed you from a lot of the stuff that you contribute to that album? Or do you feel like it's now given another box, another identity, which people can now latch onto?
Certainly. Most definitely. You know, people we all categorize and organize and try to understand. And I know for a fact, even close friends of mine probably like find my art difficult to engage with.
Really? Okay, I'm curious, what goes through your mind when there's people of that proximity and your art not resonating? Because I don't think you can always get resonance.
Yes. Yeah.
But not having room of acceptance, because I think acceptance and resonance are two different things. Like, you don't have to enjoy what you're doing or enjoy what I'm giving out, but don't necessarily deny the capacity for that thing to exist. So what is that interaction, or what goes through your head, and what is that feeling for you? Because I think not a lot of people get to hear what the other side of that experience is.
Yeah. This is like an important thing about art, and I think it's what really holds a lot of people back is what they think the close people around them will think, and also what they think other people will think. And the truth is, you can never know, and that's a losing battle. You know, if you start that, you never can, and that's what should excite you, and that's what should be part of the exploration, you know, is not calculating what people will think, but, you know, people talk about the zeitgeist, and Rick Rubin talks about antennae, and certain ideas, you know, they're not new, they just have times for them and vessels. And you know, like my granny, I saw her not long ago, and we were talking about, I was there with my girlfriend, and my granny had her friend there, and we were talking about jobs and stuff, and she was like, you know, Matthew, I don't like your music. And I said to her, I was like, thank you, Ma, that's probably a good sign, you know, that it challenges you. And I really like art that is rebellious and challenging, and I think that's what, you know, I like pushing the boundaries. And that's what I want to do with my art. And I would probably be a bit disconcerted if my granny was like, I listened to your album and that shit was hard. I fuck with that shit. You know, like, I wouldn't, like, I don't know. It's often, she's an example, but it's, you know, there are lots of people. And I never expect close people to get it. I don't make it for them at all. And, you know, I think sometimes we as artists can forget that anyone can hear your stuff now. Anyone can come across you now. And to limit the idea of the response that your art is going to receive to the people you know who are close to you is wrong. And it's just, it's not how it works, you know what I mean? And there are a lot of people who are artists in, you know, like hairdressers, people who just cut their homie's hair or their cousin's hair. That's cool. That's a different, you know, that art is serving a purpose within its own community. I think when you're trying to do it at the level that I'm trying to do it at, I would be nowhere if I limited it to the responses the people close to me would have.
Yeah.
You know? And I used to do that a lot. But, you know, like, back to the education thing, you know? The knowing too much and it can very easily get confusing if you overload, or at least for me, I get really confused if I overload myself with ideas and, you know, I try to plan too much. I just can't do that. I find it almost impossible and really overwhelming. And if you just, for me, I found my way through that by just kind of doing what I like and paying attention to the things I like and creating things I like and playing, playing.
I'm curious to know what caused the evolution to where you could fully feel that you can engage and forgo the ability to be free and create freely. Because that takes a lot of growth, but also that takes a lot of actually I'm gonna not do it by myself, but I'm gonna follow my own thought, follow my heart, and really explore my passion. And if there is a moment in your life, what was that moment? If it was a specific moment, and if it was a process, what do you think gave point to where you could feel that, no, I can have my freedom to do what I want and to say that this is something that I'm proudly doing, whether you like it or you don't?
Yeah. Like a through thread that I'm noticing here in this conversation is doing, what you do with your life, and people always say what are you doing now? It's well, I'm studying to be an engineer, or I am an engineer. It's oh, that's what that guy does with his life. He's an engineer, but it's not at all what he does with his life. You know what I mean? It's not what you do. There's all the moments in between, the getting there, the eating, the sleeping, the shitting, all of that, the conversations. It's all what you do, and the categories and the titles and the labels for things can sometimes forget or make us forget that we're all this one thing, and it's all this one thing. It's all connected, and we are all humans first, before the engineer, before the wife, before the gay, you're a human. And we are all part of this one thing. And I think it's a thing about consciousness. You haven't watched White Lotus, have you?
No, I haven't. You told me to watch it.
Yeah, it's cool. But in the third season, there's a Buddhist monk, and he talks about consciousness as being a drop of water from a crashing ocean. You know what I mean? And each brain, each conscious brain is a droplet.
Yeah.
And so I like that. And in that, there's that thing of feeling separate from it all. And then once you die, you join the water again, and you're part of the collective consciousness, whatever you want to call it, the one love. So there's something about being conscious that makes you feel inherently separated from the things around you. And for me, the going further in that and designing labels, categories, organizing the chaos is only separating you further. And the doing is all the time. You're always doing what you're doing with your life.
Yeah.
You're writing the story. Don't be attached to a story, but you're writing it every second of the day. If you're waking up every day, smoking weed, and munchy eating, going to sleep, and that's what you do with your life. That's what you are. That's what you're doing with your life. It's not well, I'm going to be, you're doing it right now, and it's all the time, and it's everything. And it's not just you, we are doing it. And the cool thing about consciousness is that you can feel separated, and you can get to enjoy this thing that you're going to become a part of again. And, once you're separated, you can zoom out a little bit and see what it might need and gain a better understanding of what it is. And that's all it has to be. And that's cool. you know?
Yeah.
It's quite deep, and the conversation is quite like, but you know what I mean? Like, that's what it makes me think about.
I think, yeah, what you say is pretty profound, right? And we had this discussion about just that moment of separation. Like a human life is it is a very long thing in our time frames. Like when you think about 80 years, it's very long. But when you think about like the universe and its existence and like the years that have existed, it's like not even a blip. It's not like it barely appears on the timeline. And so, yeah, I do think there is an element of existing and being able to exist outside and zoom out, because oddly enough, one of the authors I was reading, or I was watching a podcast that he did, he said, the best thing that you can do, or the best thing, or when you know you're living your life the best, is when you don't know everything that's happening around you. And he's like, not knowing stuff is actually a good sign. And I was like, it's a very interesting concept of like being disconnected actually allows you a deeper connection with yourself, with the world around you, and with everything that you do. I think what I do want to know, and what I do specifically hope to see, is like now in this journey where it almost seems like there's two growths: an artistic growth.
Oh shit. Sorry, I was shaking my foot. Something was rattling. Yeah, sorry, you were saying?
But there's two growth points, right?
Yeah.
You've grown significantly as an artist, and this is like my genuine like belief. I don't care what anyone says. Like if they could tell me.
No, I agree. You're right.
I remember when I was with you and you played that one beat and everyone was just like, yo, and just seeing
Recently?
that. Yeah, recently.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember where we were. I think we were in Parkhurst. But yeah, what day was it, bro? It was the Thursday, the Friday, where everyone was just freestyling on beats.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Played a beat, just like insane. Like just like everyone went, okay. I even went like, whoa. Then playing music that you've now started creating, which also seems like it's taking a life of its own, taking its own form. And you can hear your ears gotten so much more clearer. It's gotten like, you're more critical, which is odd. I don't know how to explain this to anyone who doesn't listen to you hearing your own music.
Yeah.
How do you find then in the second growth, which is just you, the person, what you're reading, what you're seeing in the world, your connection with the world growing, how have those two journeys contributed much to what is to come in your journey, but also to where you are now?
Yeah. So I guess like I really love hearing dope shit, seeing dope shit, being dope shit, and you know, like I guess being, I like that word, you know, and just going with the flow. It's that thing of like doing, you know, you're doing all the time. Even when you feel like you're not working, you are. And I engage with a lot of different shit, you know. I watch politics, I watch film, I watch TV shows, I watch podcasts, I listen to a lot of music. It all blends in a way that I don't even know, I don't even understand. And you were talking about the freestyling thing, like that's a big thing for me. You know, the clarity that I have now, I got to a point where I was like, I feel like I'm too open and I'm too nice and I can't like everything. You know, I can't just keep telling these random guys who hop on my beats that I like it, because I don't all the time. sometimes I don't like it.
Mm.
And so now I'm gonna say what I like and what I don't like. Um, and that's important. And it's not about being caught up in the whole thing of having an opinion and um, uh, feeling like you always have to express it and be right about it. It's just I like what I like, and even if I wanted to control it, I probably couldn't. I can control whether I act on it or not, but I like what I like, you know. Um, and freestyling is such a dope thing because it's dope shit. Firstly, you hear dope shit when people freestyle. There's something cooler about watching someone freestyle a song than like read from their phone over a beat. You know what I'm saying? Or when you're on the mic and you're freestyling, all that thinking and the planning and the preparation and the organization kind of has to like take a back seat, and you have to trust your feeling and your intuition. And if you do start thinking, you do start planning, I find that's when you get lost. And that's what I like. At the end of the day, it's just what I like, you know? A man who stands on nothing will fall for everything, you know?
There's an interesting theme of rebellion, and I recall our last conversation when I asked you like what music do you listen to, and you mentioned like
Yes.
Bob Marley.
I love Bobby.
Yeah, and yeah, there's I don't even know like what to say, but there's one thing that you played me that had a where we had that moment, and I asked, "Is this Bob?" And I think
Yeah.
one of the things that speaks so truly to a lot of what you're doing is that it is asking society to break itself in many ways, telling society that actually there are no boundaries, there are no limits, there are no identities, there are
Yeah, it's
no
scary.
we just are like we just exist, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
You
And
don't even try.
yeah,
You just do.
and
Yoda.
I am curious to know then, in this idea of rebellion,
Yeah.
what is it against? What is it for?
I mean, you know, so with the stuff I'm making at the moment, it's really exciting. And I love my film degree because it's the people who fill those rooms, those lecture halls and the studio room that make it what it is, you know, the especially the students. They're fucking cool, man. Like this guy Gucci, bro. I love that guy. He's like one of the most productive, creative people I've ever met. He's always doing, you know, and I love that, as we've discussed. There's Cheese. Cheese a rapper. He's a engineer. He's fire. He's you know, him and I we push each other. And Kilo, Shaq, Smoke, Sway. I don't want to forget anyone. You know, there's a lot. There's a lot of people there. I can't even think of them all, but they know I love them, and I'm with them every day. And I think it's super important to be part of a community. And that's what education does, especially at a tertiary level. You can find community, you can find your tribe. And in that, you know, there's a common like suffering. There's a lot of us have ADD, ADHD. My brother Sway would know. You know, like we, you know, growing up with that kind of thing, there's a struggle. There's a common like, you know, a lot of people made me think I was slow for having that. A lot of people made me think like I had to take pills. I was wrong. And I had to, you know, alter fix, change my mind. And there's so many ways that people try to do that to us. You know, I'm not that guy who's gonna be like, we need to rebel against the government, or we need to rebel against the powers that be. And I certainly think there's a lot of shit going on today that's disgusting and is as a result of these guys who are in power, where we put power. And my art is definitely kind of tapping into more of that. But the real kind of war that concerns me the most is the one in the mind. Because I have that, and I know a lot of people who have that, a lot of young people who have that. You know, the confusing, the knowing too much. Because what do we know? None of what we see is what is actually there. Like, what the fuck do we know? And I know, like, I don't know anything. And for me, that is a good sign. And when I'm in that space of like, I know, and this is the answer, I need that too. But that's often as a result of maintaining that thing of, I don't know anything. And I think young people are confused. There are things being thrown at us all the time that are trying to change our mind or design our mind, or, you know, like at the very, very base level. And of course, we will be conditioned and nurtured, and we have nature. But, you know, I sense that there will be massive changes in our lifetime, and it's happening right now. And I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. But, you know, they say like that kind of change doesn't start from people who sit down and do what they're told. It happens when people start acting rebellious, when people start questioning, when people start expressing. And I guess if there's anything that I want for people, it's to feel free to express and connect.
I'm curious, would you consider yourself an outcast?
Not really, you know. Like I really have like gotten past that thing of caring about people who I grew up with, what they think about what I'm doing, people who I know. I'm very, very much about this life, and I'm on my path, and I'm set on it, and I don't know what it entails, but I'm doing it. And you know, like, sure, there's certain spaces I go to where I'm like, whew, I've really drifted along. I've like, you know, like shit, like I'm not connecting with this like I used to anymore. And it's because I've had the opportunity to figure out what I connect to. And, you know, the ADHD thing, the creativity thing is, that's what expressing and connecting is about to me. You know, creativity. I really, really love creativity. And that's what I love about the school I'm at. That's what I love about art, is the connection and the humanity in it. And I know so many guys who inspire me at my school, and even beyond that, you know, like you and Mark and Samanga, bunch of guys, Luke, you know, creators. I think creativity is vital, and I think it's going to be a really important part of what the future has installed. And you know, there is something lonely about being an artist and being so willing to express your ideas and put them out there and know that people are going to box and do this and that and form their judgments. I do it. We all do it. And I don't feel like an outcast, though. I just feel awake.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And you know, like you were saying the other day, you were like, what did you say? You were like, dang, bro, people feel tired. Like people seem tired.
Yeah. Feeling awake. Jeez, yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. That I don't know. I feel like just that statement alone really just made me go like, oh geez, okay, there's a lot there. I think creativity and creative spaces incur very weird people. And I don't mean weird people in the sense of like, people are gonna think the loons. No, I mean, every time I've sat down with anyone who's dedicated some amount of their life to creativity, there's something in their brain that ticks differently. They see the world differently. They consider the world differently.
Definitely.
And like, one element of it is, a lot of them tend to do have like ADHD and ADD. Like it tends to be that most of them are predisposed, or there's a disposition, or what? I don't know what the word is. Where, there's a bias. There's a bias towards people with ADHD. Somebody who actually does statistics is going to tell me what the word actually is.
Right.
But it's the same thing in like sports. Like sportsmen have the exact same thing. And a lot of the time they attest to the repetitive nature and the ability to both find complexity and create complexity, and then overcome complexity and then find a new thing.
Right.
Because I guess in one element for very sporty people, it's like first attempt is putting it in the basket, just trying to get it in. Then it's like trying to get it in consistently. And then it's like, okay, now I'm trying to go for 100. And in music, it's kind of that same thing. It's this spurt of, here's an idea, let me try and execute it. And then over time, you start to appreciate, oh, I wasn't thinking about how that sound or how that effect is playing onto something.
Yeah.
You have been on this journey for years. And when I mean years, I don't mean, because people are going to say like, what am I talking about? But
it's been a long time.
You've been at it for so long.
Yeah.
What for you's kept you so motivated, ingrained in it? But also, what would you say are the biggest lessons you've taken from it that you can apply to life?
Yeah, it's been very long. And sometimes I get like sad about how far some of it is from me. I think there's something like super special about starting and the wonder you have, you know, the feeling like the universe is at the tip of your finger, and you know, your ideas are limitless and your excitement, you know, it's I was with someone in the studio yesterday or the other day, I can't remember, and like, you know, we were using FL Studio, and you know, like he said, he's like, it's like flying a spaceship, you know, like and I never thought about it like that, but it really does look like that. Like that's how it looks, you know. And like Star Wars has been just a thing in my life. I love that shit. It's the best. But anyways, you know, I don't feel like that anymore when I open that shit. It's like, this is home. You know, I'm like Han. I'm back in the Millennium Falcon now. And so it's, you know, that goes back to that thing I say of knowing too much, because as you create, you learn, and you know, sometimes you can think you know. And the harder it becomes to like, it's like trudging a path through long grass. You know what I mean? And the more you do it, the more a clear path arrives. And so you just start taking that path every time. And sometimes you forget that, you know, there's other ways, there's more grass to walk through, there's more to discover. And yeah, as you do it, I do think it's limitless, but as the more you do it, the more you can feel like it isn't. And the more, you know, the harder it gets to find that inspiration and the motivation, you know. And I think the space, at least for me, like these motherfuckers are uninspiring. I'm really uninspired by most of these guys. I don't know what it is. That's not to say that there aren't some guys who really do inspire me. But yeah, shit. You know, like the more I do it, the harder it becomes for me to like find it, you know? And I guess that's about me knowing more and more, or not knowing, but finding more and more what I like. And like, I like how hard it gets. And I like that it gets harder. It's cool. I like Mario. You know, it gets harder as you go on, and like, that's cool. I still feel like a kid. I still feel really excited about things and really optimistic, and I still see color. And there's kind of, you know, at a very simple level, I play with my voice a lot, and you know, there's if you wanted to listen to all the music that exists, you couldn't. It's impossible. It's like counting stars. There's so much, and there's so much to be taken from it, you know. And I would have said this way 2 years ago without having listened to a lot of shit myself. You know what I mean? Like as a teen, I was really just bumping trap. Maybe a little bit of Tame Impala, a little bit of, you know, Mobb Deep or Nas, but not, you know, it was quite limited. And now, like, I don't really even listen to trap music that much. Even though I make trap music, I don't listen to a lot of it. I've really gone deep down that reggae path. I love reggae. Recently, I'm listening to The Cure.
Yeah.
Like Homesick. I like that one a lot. But they have a lot, you know, and, you know, back to what I was saying, because now it's gotten complex, and I always do this. I hate this, but simply like playing with your voice. Your voice is an instrument. You can do a lot with that. You can sound like a different person. And that's exciting. Like someone like Cardi still feels really young. And I think that is because he plays with his voice. And I think, you know, a lot of people who get where he's at right now and fuck with it is because when he found that voice, or whatever, you know, the deep voice Cardi people, you know, like, I can imagine for him it felt like being a brand new artist again. And so there's ways to feel brand new all the time. And, you know, like I make a shit ton of music. I make a lot. And I made a lot of music for Kenz3i, and 15 songs ended up being there. That was an amalgamation of a lot of songs. And in that, you know, the more songs you create, it's like, you know, it's easy to fool yourself and think, well, then that means there's less songs for me to make now. you know, but it's not true. It's often when you make one song that opens up pathways to like 4 different song ideas. You know what I mean? And so, you know, if you practice presence and you find out how to be and just tap into what's around you, what's in front of you, be present and focus on today. It feels new every time then, you know? What else have I learned? The South Africa industry, yo, we need a fix. We need to develop here. You know what I mean? Like, shit. I don't want to keep doing new things and like by the end of doing it feeling like, oh, well, I guess that's a new thing that I just got to figure out how to do on my own. I don't like that.
Take me more through that. What do you mean?
I performed earlier this year and that was awesome. It's like a major reason why I make music is to so that people can experience it together and connect, and it was amazing. But it was, you know, I learned like a lot of, I don't think there's enough. It's funny that I say this, teachers, because like earlier I was saying like, you know, I'm a little bit skeptical of education and art. So maybe I'm gonna swap out teachers with senseis or wizards. There's not enough
mentors. There's people.
Yeah. There's a lot of the big guys are, I don't know. I don't see them really tapping in down below. Like I would, you know? Booty call.
Nah, never. Never not.
Nah, it's like 3 p.m.
Oof. Okay, I'm going to throw an idea at you. And I want you to tell me if this is a fair and accurate reading of the situation. Historically, in the music industry, and at least if we look to the 90s, potentially the early 2000s, there used to be gatekeepers at different levels, right?
Yeah.
There used to be gatekeepers at playing at your local club. There used to be gatekeepers at trying to sign with whoever is the person who's putting on artists within the city. There was gatekeepers to record labels. But throughout this process, in there being gatekeeping, once you were let in, there was a community to kind of incubate you, catch you.
Yes.
And that's how we got a lot of the relationships, the Drake, the Kendrick, the J. Cole. Like, I guess, as much as people say they're beefing, like, the people don't appreciate just their story and how those people came up together and, like, the communities that they came up with.
Yeah.
And fast forward now, 2025. Maybe even, like, let's call it COVID, because I think COVID was kind of the thing that broke a lot of, because we started seeing TikTok music. That was rough.
Yeah, TikTok music. Trash.
But
not all of it.
Yeah, not all of it.
I love Yeet.
We then saw people be able to create independently, distribute themselves independently, brand themselves independently. Yeah. And now the need for mentorship seemed absent. There was no gatekeepers. There was no community to incubate you. There was no one to say, what you just did was trash. It was horrible. Like, I always, as a J. Cole, consumer? I don't know. I'm not a fan, but I know my boys they're gonna say I'm lying, but that's fine. J. Cole, but J. Cole's "I Let Nas Down" is a very interesting song where he speaks about the fact that he's let down one of his mentors, one of the people that he's looked up to.
Yeah,
and it feels like now the same respect, the same appreciation, the same cultural knocks that people used to have to get have fallen away.
Yeah.
And in some ways, there is people, and we're seeing it to some extent when our celebrities are trying to be artists.
Yeah.
Where the artistry in of itself is diminished, and now they just want guarantees in an audience. And so do you think this, I don't know. I don't think it's to assign blame, but I think it's to say, do you think in the world where everyone is allowed to be a creative has actually led to creation of itself? Or I don't want to say good creation, because I think everything is good in its own way, but development. Yeah, I think that's a better word. The development of an artist has been lost. The process,
Oh,
the
yeah.
appreciation, the
Definitely.
journey.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the like traditional development, labels don't put money into that. It's easier for them to put money in the guy who seems like he's got the summer hit, the young guy, instead of reinvesting in this guy who had his moment. It's harder to keep the flame alight. It's easier to just move on to the next candle these days. Even audiences behave like that a lot. There's not a lot, even at the highest level in America. Like, who of the new guys in the underground is really still around from the last 5 years? Like, who is still, you know what I mean? They're around, but where are they? What have they done? I bet you most of them have signed. I almost guarantee you, all the big guys that you knew were in the underground, I guarantee you most of them have a deal now. And that's why you don't hear about them anymore. The way the game is designed now is, and listen, I play the game, I'm here. I'm not like, oh, well, it's rigged, so why even try? I'm here trying. That's not to say that I like it. It's not like I like all the rules that I have to play by, or I like all the rules they set up for us, because it's a lot of it is backwards, and there's like this, there's something inherently selfish about capitalism and how people are supposed to behave within it. That's not to say it doesn't work the best, or I don't know, who the fuck knows, but it works quite well in terms of giving people the space to create their own systems and create their own sort of infrastructures and create a need for a need. But it's played very selfishly, and there's also this idea that about life that is very focused on consumption and money, and the idea of God like has been fading and fading and fading. McQueen is fading, like, and I think it's coming back. I'm sensing it coming back quite strongly. Sometimes in forms that don't appeal to me, but it's coming, and that's good. I think ego is such a big problem, and so many of these guys are just like so selfish, and like they can't see beyond their nose, and they just blood sniffers. They just out there for blood. They want to make a killing. That's what they say. They want to make a killing, and that's cool. The more I do this, though, the scarier I find money, because I see what it does to these guys in their heads, and also to the guys who don't have it yet, and their obsession with it, and how sick it can make you, like quite literally, it's all about what is my offering. And when I talk about like why I love creativity and the offerings, it's never about who made the offering. These things that become unanimous, people forget the creators of like, or the designers of the stop sign or the toilet. Who the fuck? But they are here. They transcend ego. They are just what is. And I believe in the idea of God. I don't think I don't subscribe to any religion, but that's a recent change of mine. As a kid, I believed in God, and I grew up, in Christian environments. As a teenager, I, I had like a depression. I had like a crisis, like, and then when you're studying like existentialism in drama, doesn't really help, because I was like, shit, man, like none of this means anything, and what the fuck, and like, and now that idea kind of makes me happy, but I've kind of circled back to the idea of God, and it's a very different version of what the idea used to be. And that means when you make an offering, that's through you, but not you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's I think Christians would say it's through God's grace. That's a way of saying it. It's through you.
It's not owned by you. It's kind of the idea of like we don't own it all. It's by the grace of, by the extent of which a power has agreed to give us this information. And I guess there's really deep philosophies, and people really explore the idea of like, where do ideas come from, and why does somebody have a specific idea? Like, why are you, and why do you create in a certain way that's different from the person who's next to you and different from the person who's next to them? And so I do think it takes a lot of humility. I am a firm believer of that, because I think it's an assumption everyone makes. Everyone makes the assumption that at the point at which you start creating, you're creating to be seen.
Yeah. So, sorry.
No.
Oh, okay.
Good.
So with ego, so long as you're human, by doing something, ego is in there. It is in there. And I have an ego problem. I have a big ego, and
why would you say that?
I think like there's an ego in being an artist to some extent, in the sense that, especially a musician, I guess, because I'm like, my ideas are so good that like random motherfuckers are just gonna sit down and engage with them, and like, take time out of their lives to do that. There's ego, and for a long time I was very much, my drive was my ego, and I thought it was like, well, this is good, this is what is taking me forward, it's what's giving me motion, it's the fire, this like, I want to be the best, and I want to get better, and I want to, and I can't say I've let go of that entirely. But I got to a point where I realized I really had to work on it, and it was not serving me, and it was hurting me a lot. And there was just this disconnect between what I was creating and what I saw in my head. And, the thing is not about killing the ego. It will be there. As, we said, like when you do things, there's ego in it. But in kind of coming back to this idea of God and really embracing it and really like thinking about it, like, I do what the universe is doing. Do you get what I'm saying?
It is.
I'm part of it. I'm it.
Yeah, it is. It's all one. It's
Yeah,
not. It isn't. It isn't like the universe and you. It's just like
we're all collaborating, and the rock falling off the cliff, we are doing that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, there's, when the rock collides, we don't feel pain, but it's there. The violence. Like, the universe is naturally violent. The universe is naturally thinking and growing and creating paths and destroying paths, and it's that for me has kind of what changed a lot and allowed me to not kill my ego, but put it in the back seat and help it clock how dumb it is and how destructive it is. Because it's part of that consciousness. It's allowing that consciousness and that thing about it that makes you feel separated to fool you into thinking that you're something special.
Yeah. You just always say things that get my mind like turning. Because Jeez.
You too, bro. People don't know how much like this podcast is handled like amazingly, and that I would have, the first time I came on here, I would have been like, like, what the fuck, like I don't, why would people but we need this. Artists need this. I need this. I want to express myself, and I want to, I'm playing the game, and this is part of it, and Khumo creates an environment for that to really flourish. But behind, closed doors, when the mics are off and shit, like the amount of stuff he's thinking and that he has to offer, that's why he can engage in a way like this and give us platforms, because we need it.
No, I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. That means the world, bro. There's two things I want to ask in closing. I think it might be three.
Cool. I know I speak a lot.
No, I'm very happy. I think this is gonna be a recurring thing. This has to keep happening.
Nah, we will. I like it.
I think the first one for me is, I even believe this. I think there's been a major evolution in who you are, almost the death of a self in a sense. And I think the death of a self is very extreme.
No, I hear you though. I get it.
Because some people might be like, yo, what are you trying to say? But I think it almost feels as though there was a recognition of someone who was and where you are now. And I think it's been a joy being a part of that, just like speaking to you at different times and different moments.
Yeah.
But more deep within that, do you ever feel like you get to a moment of like peace, like satisfaction? Because it does always feel like there's the constant, and I get it, the constant drive, the constant want, the constant like, I want to be better. I need to find the answer.
Yeah.
And that can sometimes put you in a very like weird place. Like stagnation brings a different feeling. It brings a different thought. And so within all of that, within the change in identity and the evolution, do you think, and I probably know the answer to this, but do you think in this journey where you are now, you're at peace, or do you think peace is to come?
Yeah, I like that. I like the way you said it, because, the idea of it's like yet to come, like the salvation is yet to come. And I existed, and I still do. Like, look, like I talk a lot because I think about these things and I can feel them. And action is a different thing, and I really try to align. But, like there's, like all this bullshit. Like, there's like the rapper thing. Like, people like when you got a little bit of ego, and you're like, like, it's gotten to the point like where, if I'm going to go clothes shopping, I got to put some swagger on that when I tell my homie, like, he's like, yo, you want to hop in the game and play some Call of Duty? And I'm going to be like, nah, bro, I'm going to go collect some pieces from my guy. Knowing damn well I'm just going to Santon, or like, like I'm a go on a hike, and like someone calls me up and he's like, yo, you want to go to the beach? It's like, nah, I'm reaching new heights, like, I still have fun, the ego is there, and it's like all of these things are like toys, and we must play with these things and learn. Sometimes they'll hurt you, and that's okay. But like existing in for so long, I've always, and now, a lot of people look at me and they're like, yo, when you make it, and it's like, I made it. The fuck you mean? I made the album. I made the song today.
Yeah. I fulfilled the thing that I set out for myself.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
Make it, do it. What do you do with your life? What do you make of it? Like, man, like, I was always in the space of like, it's to come. My life is yet to begin, and the life. People call it the life, which is so weird. That's such a funny like way of putting it. The life. Like, what life? The second life? Which one? Like, like this is the life, and I always like, in terms of my creativity, I got to like a cul-de-sac, and I was like, well then, like, no, I want to make that song now. Like this song that I've been dreaming of making, that I want to put on my dream album when I make it, what the fuck? Let me make it now. And maybe it's not going to be what it could be, like when you do have money, when you do have like a team and all of this shit, like, the accessibility, you gain a bit of that with money and status and power and whatever, you can get into rooms, and I get that, but it's like, shit, my voice is breaking, I be singing a lot, man. And recently, like, the shit I'm working on, like what I'm doing with my voice from a practical level, you'll understand why my voice sounds like this at the moment. But anyways, yeah, the idea of it's yet to come, like my life, that's painful. And I think, I've seen some guys get deals. I've seen some of my homies have those little moments. Like even me, like I had like over 100,000 views on a few TikToks, and I was like, what the fuck? Like those you made it moments. I was like, what is it? And then in that, I felt so unfulfilled, and nothing changed at all. Nothing changed. So it was like, those things remind you it's now. Like and I feel strongly about these things. I don't like telling people what to do, but be present, like, it's so big, and it's happening now. It doesn't even exist what's happening now, but it's to the best of our ability to, photons behave differently when you look at them. Most of an atom is empty space. Our eyes are limited, and our brains are machines, and we're just downloading this to the best ability we can. So it's not even really there, but it's what we feel is there, and we can feel it, and that's the best we're going to get out of this thing. You know what I mean? And in some way, I kind of do have a sense that I'm in the glory days, like this is awesome what I'm doing, and what you're doing. I know, like, this is exciting shit, you know what I mean? And I got no regrets about where I'm at. I don't have strong beefs. Sure, I get jealous. I have envy. I have all these bad things. And to say like I feel at peace is difficult because my brain is really like kind of juxtaposed to what the idea of peace is. But I do feel at peace. I feel I feel at peace with not being at peace.
Oh. Yeah, nah, you keep dropping bars. Today you came ready. You said I'm gonna drop bar
Now
after
we
bar
coming.
after bar. Second last thing, AI and music. I know we've had a great deal of conversation, and I genuinely do believe that conversation in of itself deserves its own podcast. Like I think we've had
gonna do
hours.
Till you're 90. We're doing this forever. Yeah. Yes, the AI thing.
I already know your thoughts, but what are your thoughts again? In terms of what it means for you, what it means for the creative space. And take us through what it's doing if you're using it, if you're not using it.
Yeah. Okay, so I am using it. I'm not gonna say how or what, where specifically, because I think it's an interesting exercise to like, with especially close people I speak to every day, to like ask them, do you think this is AI or not? Like, you know what I mean? Because that's where it's gonna go, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be synchronized. It's going to be integrated into what we do, and it's happening in music. And they're not really telling you when it is happening, and only if you know, you know. And I'm not going to tell you where I've used it. I'm not going to say that I let that shit write my lyrics or make my beats necessarily, but I've integrated it into my work, and it's been really cool. It's opened doors for me. It's the next thing. It's doing things I haven't seen technology do in the space of music. And it, some people call it shortcuts or whatever. Shortcuts are nice. Like, you don't have to, like, don't do the easy thing, but find how to do the hard thing easily, and AI is helping us do that. No, I don't believe, like, personally, I could ever connect to an entirely AI artist. I think I crave humanity in music, and the more I listen to music, the more I love like spontaneity and just like unorthodox shit happening. Like, and people don't know it, but they also like that about music. Like we were at Starbucks today, and there was a guy behind us. He's from America, and he was talking about how they had the self-checkouts out in Starbucks, and, like, you just go there, get your coffee and pay yourself, don't interact with a human. And he was like, yeah, they it seems to be reversing that because people don't like it.
Yeah.
We like, hey, hi, what's your name? What do you want? Like, we like that. I don't even know what it is, but I like that. And so I don't think that is gonna be lost. It certainly won't be lost in my music. But I am using it. It's fresh, and I do, like, there was a whole different kind of transition that happened with the internet and DAWs and things like, when I say DAWs, I mean like FL Studio, like these software that serves the function of an analog studio.
DAWs.
People didn't need bands anymore. People didn't need to record on tape. People didn't, it changed, and all that shit is dope. And people still use that shit to create dope shit, and it's part of it now. It forever will be, and it's part of the story. But the guys who didn't adapt and didn't take on the new shit, they go, McQueen is fading.
Oof. I do think you mentioned an interesting thing about like just people's desire for humanity. I always think it very out of the world that we're shifting to more like AI, self-service, self-check-ins and stuff, and we're removing a lot of the human interactions. But like, we are just recovering from COVID. Like we were just locked inside.
That shit fucked me up.
Yeah,
Yo.
like we
Fucked
had
us
no
up.
freedom. We had no capacity to interact beyond the people in
Yeah.
our family.
Yeah.
And like it's now we're doing that again, where it's like now you're limited to just
Yeah,
the people that you know.
Yeah, like that's interesting. Like I've noticed that. Like it's like, oh, some people like that. What was going on? And you know, like even me, like there's, like I know lots of people who are like, well, I just don't do that in person anymore
Yeah.
because it's just so much easier to do it online. And sure, that's kind of cool that we kind of got a shortcut to those answers through that. You know, like comfort is. I don't like comfort, and well, I do. Of course, I do. I like a soft bed, and you know what I mean. But like, I have this recent song. I think I said something like, "In a bug where the beds bite," and you know, I think there's something scary about just craving the level of comfort that we crave sometimes, and staying in that. And for me, it certainly didn't work. Like just doing everything from bed. That's quite literally where it got. And you know, being bitten by a bug is not that bad, man. You know what I mean? Like go outside and you know, you might have to go to hospital. Story. Whole rap song right there. Through the wire. Like, you know, you can have your own version of it. Like, go outside. Like, be outside. Like, for me, that's what works for me. That's what keeps me up. That's what keeps me engaged. That's what makes me feel alive. And, you know, I think some people went through COVID and were like, I like this. I stopped having to do all these things that made me uncomfortable. And, you know, I've been in places, and I know people have been in places where you kind of just get stuck in a loop of like gratification and, you know, and I think it's cool that we learned, you know, some things are better to do online, whatever. We learned a lot. But we must remember what we had and what we have had and what we did. We mustn't forget. We must be able to let go. We don't have to be attached to everything, but we mustn't forget, you know. And I think we have a lot of things around us that are designed to make us forget.
Yeah, no. Yeah, not fair, bro. Not fair. I always say this. I think your brain works differently. It does, and it's amazing.
Thank you.
It gives light to like different ideas. It breaks what society streamlines, what society deems acceptable, what the society deems normal, and if you listen close enough, it forces you to think deeply about life and about our understanding of this thing we call Earth, the world, life, the universe.
Right.
In closing, though, I do ask, as people will hate me if I don't ask this, what's coming up? What's next? What's in the pipeline? Where's your head at? What can you talk about? What can't you talk about? What is to expect from you after such a brilliant, generational album, bro? I think probably I remember listening to that thing for the first time and going, hey, crazy. And I
thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I've said it stood the test of time. And
it feels like it is, yeah.
And it's been played, and I've had friends play it. I've had friends play it for you.
Yeah, that was dope. That was sick. Yeah.
And yeah, man, it was. I don't know. I don't necessarily believe in the idea of perfect, but if there was one way to be perfect, it was that album. That was one of the best ways to come out.
Thank you, man. That means a lot. Yeah, it's perfect to me. What's coming up? What's shit? I mean, can always expect some finesse, some exquisite music, spectacular. You know, you can always expect that from me. In what form? What next? Like, I have had people ask me, "Are you making an album? What are you doing?" I'm like, I don't. You know, those who know, and those who don't, and they'll figure it out. You know, you're gonna see me keep pushing. You're gonna see me more, whether you like it or not. You're gonna, you know, hear my beats even when you don't know they're mine. You know, I don't know how much I can stand on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm one of the most productive producers. Let's not even talk about engineers or rappers or producers. I'm one of the most productive producers in South Africa right now, and I'm certainly one of the freshest. So you're gonna hear more beats from me. You're gonna hear fucking just crazy ass shit, and then otherwise, like, you know, I'm a storyteller. I like stories. I'm a designer, and you're gonna see. You're gonna hear stories. Don't believe all of them. Yeah, it's war though. It's war.
It is war. It is war, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
This every time we do it, bro. But every time we sit down and we talk, I always.
Yeah, it's amazing, man.
I
I
walk
love
away.
this.
Yeah, bro. It's a testament to who you are. It's a testament to your soul, definitely. But I think, I don't know. I think what you have is generational. And I think a lot of people are starting to recognize it. A lot of people are starting to know it.
Thank you.
But beyond that, I just think like I said, you think Yoda-like, right? It's
Yoda.
Thinking differently.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Star Wars, bro. It's all in there. It's all in there.
I need to watch Star Wars back because of you, because you keep referencing it. And I also
so
remember
good,
that one
dude.
chat we had about Star Wars, about the Force, and then you also
yes.
you mentioned Star Wars and the politics. Yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars conversations that need to be had after I watch these movies.
Yeah, bro. Fuck, it's so good.
But I want to say thank you very much. Thank you for doing this with me. And
thank you, bro. Thank you.
At the end, it's interesting. It's taking me into my next era, the third year. Well, into the third year,
Yes,
fourth
sir.
year.
Happy 3, brother.
Thank you very much.
Happy 3.
Thank
Misunderstood, man. I mean, like, I'll rep the boys forever. Misunderstood, like this shit, you know, what you guys do. It's amazing, man. And you're I know you don't talk a lot about your personal life on this, but you're leaving, man. You're going. And I'm going to miss you, bro. But I know when we're back, we're going to keep cooking it up. I might catch you over there on that side. Who knows?
No, of course. It has to happen. We're going to travel the world, take over the world.
Sir. Yes, sir.
What? One song and podcast at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Thank you,
One breath.
One love.
One love, yeah.
Yeah, and to everyone else out there, if you've gotten this far, thank you very much. I think, this is what it's going to be. A lot to come forward. There's a lot to expect. And we're tapping into the world of different. We're tapping into the world of artistry.
Culture.
But more to come.
Music.
And as always,
people.
This has been Misunderstood.